Hey, hi all. So in this tutorial, we are going to discuss about those DO480. So that is multi-clusters management with the Red Hat OpenStack platform, that we can say the RHOCPs basically, right? And in this, what we are going to cover now. So we have like the content what we are going to cover in this training that we are going to do in this next batches and all those things, right? And what is the new thing, we can discuss that. And then the some point of exams, like when we are talking about the exams, like what is in this exam and the exam durations, and how you guys can go for those exams and all those things, right? So when I just jump on, I just show you that like when we have a content and what type of content we have, that especially in this particular DO480s, right, that we are going to cover in this training purposes and all, right? So jumping on the content, so total we can say we have a total 10 chapter in this official curriculum of the Red Hat OpenStack, the multi-clusters management with the Red Hat OpenStack platform, that is the DO480s, right? So if you just guys just check that we have like these content that we're going to cover in these particular sections and scenarios, right? So when we jumping on the very first point, if you notice now what we have exactly, we have a managing the same, like when you're talking about those courses and information. So we have like very first, like how we can manage multi-clusters with the help of Kubernetes architectures, right? So in this entire first sections or first chapter, what we're going to cover, that we're simply talked about the identify common use cases of the multi Kubernetes clusters, right? And then challenges that maybe you presented by your clusters, or we can say the multi clusters architectures, right? And also we have like identify the tools provided by the Red Hat, the OpenShift platform, right? That may be allowed to end-to-end management, securities, and then compliances for the Kubernetes, right? That may be occurred in your hybrid cloud and all those things. And then also we are going to discuss about the chapter number first, installations of your RHACM, right? That is a Red Hat Advanced Clusters Management. We can say that we have like what we have is like in the argument we have like RHACM, right? So that we can say sir, like Red Hat Advanced Clusters Management. So with the help of these things, what we can do, we can simply install this RHSM operator from the operator hub in Red Hat OpenShift hub clusters, right? So in this particular chapter, what we have exactly the purpose of this chapter, right? Similarly, identifying the common use cases for the multiple Kubernetes clusters, and then challenges as an administrator in occurred in the multi-clusters architectures, right? And then we'll discuss about those the identifications tool, such as we can say that the end-to-end encryptions end-to-end management services, securities, compliances, and then the installations of the RHCM, right? So, and after these sections, when we complete those sections, for each and every point, we have a lab for the same. If you mention the guide exercise, right? It's like official curriculum for the same Red Hat. So for after each and every topic, we have a lab for the same. So you guys need to complete the lab as well. So that's about the chapter number first. We are not going to deep and dive in this chapter number first. We'll discuss in when we're talking about those training, right? So that's like a first point. Now after installations, install those particular RHCM, then what we have the chapter number second, that we can say inspecting the resources from the multi clusters using the RHCM web consoles, right? When you guys are configured the RHCM, then what we have exactly, with the help of those web consoles, we can inspect those resources that may be used in your clusters, right? So what we can say, the agenda of this particular entire chapter number second, we can say that, right? So simple, we talked about the we can locate the object across the clusters by using the search engines and enumerate the Red Hat Advanced Clusters Management for the same, like we can say the RHCM, right? So with the help of RHCM features through the web consoles, right, we can locate those objects with the help of search engines, and then with the help of Red Hat enumerations concept and all those things in this particular console, we can say the RHCM, right? And also we'll discuss about those the how we can create a different users role in this particular RHCM and define an authentications model for the multi-clusters management, right? So this is the objective of this particular chapter number 2. So overall, we can say that after complete those RH, it's like a very important tool for in this particular 480, and also there is a lot of we can say the questions and points in your exam too as well. So again, with the help of RHCM, what we can do that we can simply locate the object, we can check those things, right? And in the chapter number 1, we already install those with the help of operator, right? And also we can create a user's roles, right? And then perform some kind of certain task with the help of this particular consoles and all. So it's about the chapter number 2. So like a small point we can mention that, right? In the chapter, when we're talking about the training, again I'm mentioning, we'll discuss in the deep and dive. Right now, in the chapter 3, what we have exactly, we have options for the deploying and managing policies for multi-cluster with the help of RHCM web console, especially, right? So what we have exactly in this particular chapter number 3, overall the agenda of this small point, we just mentioned everything in the small point, right? So will in this particular chapter 3, right? So again, I'm mentioning those things, inspecting those things. So inspecting means what we can say when we're talking about those things. So how we can deploy those policies, we can say that when we're talking about those, right? And with the help of, again, with the help of RHCM, right? So deploying, so overall deploying policies on multiple clusters by using the command line tool, we can say we have a command, OC command and all those things. Either what we can use that, we can use this particular RHCM web console to deploy those authentications, and then we have like a dashboard for the same to manage those things, the information, right? Also we can deploy the compliances operator policies, and we can view the compliances report from the multiple clusters by using those command line. Either we have option for the same RHCM dashboard, governance dashboard, we can say that, right? And also we can deploy those gatekeeper policies, right? And with the help of this gatekeeper, the clusters, by using the command line we can deploy the same thing. Either we can use this particular Red Hat clusters management, overall we can say advanced clusters management, that is RHCM, right? So overall in that, what exactly we have, that we are going to deploy those policies. By using those tools, we are going to deploy those compliances operator, and there we are going to deploy those particular, the gatekeeper deployment and all those things, right? So same in the chapter number 3, what we have, that deploying those applications with the help of different process and the different scenarios. So it's like a we can say objective of this particular chapter number 3, right? In the 4th, what exactly we have that we are going to talk about those installing and customizing the RHCM, right? With the help of those different, again, we have a console for the same. We'll discuss that how we can install and customize those RHCM observability stacks and all, right? So what exactly we have that in this particular, right? So again, we can say the objective for the same, like enable the RHCM observability stack, and then describe the architecture and the benefit of this particular observability in this particular multi-clusters environment, right? And then how we can customize, like the first we are going to enable those things, right, in this particular environment, and then we'll discuss that we are going to how to customize those RHCM observability stacks, right? So the point what we have, that the same is like a small point with the help of Grafana, we can watch that with the help of alert manager. We have option for the same. In 380 we have option for the same, right? So these are like small point, right? With the help of those we can entirely install and customize those RHCM observability stacks, right? So again, I'm not going to discuss those in the deep and dive. Again, I'm mentioning those because these things when we're talking about those examples point of view, so we'll discuss in those details, right? So that's about the chapter number 4. It's like small objective for the same. I'm mentioning those points, right? Now, so jumping on the chapter number 5, what exactly we have that, again, I'm just mentioning those small point. So what they're mentioning, how we can deploy, right, applications across multiple clusters with the help of which one? With the help of RHCM, right? So entirely in this course, RHCM is like very crucial part, right? With the help of these management tool, we can say the advanced clusters management tool, we can do everything, right? So in this chapter, what exactly we have to do when we are notice on this particular environment and all those package, when I show you that, right, I just let you know, right? So in this particular 5th chapter, that we are going to describe and define the GitOps concept and then the resources of the Red Hat Advanced Clusters Management for the Kubernetes, and then their applications model, right? And then we'll discuss the delivery applications into the multiple cluster using this particular RHACM, right? And then we can see in their GitOps and all, right? And then we'll describe the customized concept and features and deploy a new customization with the help of customized command line tool. You guys are aware of the customize in the Kubernetes and all those things, right? So the same, when we're talking about the deployment or application across multiple clusters, so with the help of those RHACM, we can describe the GitOps concept, right? We can deliver those applications, right? And then with the help of customized concept, customized command line tool, we can deploy a new customizations resource as well, right? So it's about those again, those concept in the chapter number 5, that we are going to deploy the applications with the help of this particular RHACM. It's in the chapter number 5th, right? In the chapter number 6, what we have exactly, the installing and configuring the Red Hat queue. So you guys can say like queue or QA, both are actually same. The in the different one we can say like queue or QA. Now, so what exactly we have in the chapter number 6, right? The simple we can see, you guys notice on this identity and component, other feature and all those things. So overall what we have, that we have a lab for the same every topic, right? That we're going to talk about in this particular chapter 6. That we're going to talk about the same like architectures and identifications, the main benefit of this particular Red Hat queue, we can say that, and then install the queue operator and deploy and configure a queue registry using the command line tool. We'll discuss that, right? And then we'll talk about the describe, how we can describe those the same Red Hat queue concept for image registry organizations and manage role-based access control by using the LDAP. Right, so in these particular options, we have these particular describe the Red Hat queue repository model and RBAC and all those things. So in this, what we are going to do that again, we are going to describe the Red Hat queue concept for image repository organizations, and then those RBAC by using the LDAP. Like we are going to authenticate our queue with the help of this particular LDAP authentications and all those things, right? So it's all about how we can install and configure the Red Hat queue, right? So the architecture and identification of this particular, or we can say the benefit of this particular Red Hat queue, and then we have a lab for the same, we can say the installations and configurations of the Red Hat queues and all those things, right? So again, it's like a repository that we can configure and manage in this particular chapter number 6. Now, jumping on the next point, chapter number 7, what we have that, right? In this chapter number 7, we have like integrations and Red Hat queue with the Red Hat, with the help of Red Hat, again, RHACM, right? So again, what we can say in this particular scenario and this particular sections, right? Here we are going to talk about those, or we can say the identify the different Red Hat queue use cases, right? And the architectures, that architecture in the multi-cluster, we can say environment, that we have like multi-cluster environment and all those things, so that we are going to perform those environment too as well, right? And then the benefit of using a central registries. So that's the first point. And the next, what we have that with the help of those with the help of RHACM, we can say the Red Hat Advanced Cluster Management Kubernetes. We can also restrict the container images sources registry in your cluster fleet, we can say that, right? And then again, with the help of this particular RHACM, right, we can deploy an application using the central Red Hat queue registry. Right, so overall what we can say in this particular, right, we are going to identify those different Red Hat queues use cases, right, and then we are going to restrict those container images sources in your clusters environment, cluster fleet overall we can say, and with the help of this particular RHACM to deploy an applications using a central Red Hat queue registries, right. So overall configuring the queues, and then managing those things with the help of Red Hat Advanced Clusters Management utility or tools. So it's about those particular, it's a small point about the particular chapter number 7th that we're going to cover in this detail in the particular training, right? Now, so the next what we have that the chapter number 8, we can say installing and configuring the RHACS, right? When we're talking about those, so what exactly the RHACS we can say is about the Red Hat Advanced Cluster Securities for the Kubernetes, right? We can say the Red Hat Advanced Cluster Securities for the Kubernetes. So what we are going to do in this particular chapter number 8, when you're talking about those particular RHACS, right? So these are like content, if you guys notice now. So overall in this particular chapter that we're going to cover those, we can say we are going to cover and identify security concern in the Kubernetes multi-cluster environment. Obviously, we need a security policy and all those things, right? So that we are going to identify the security concern in this particular Kubernetes multi-cluster environment, and then the potential fix offered by the Red Hat Advanced Cluster Securities for this particular Kubernetes. We can say the RHACS. So overall, in this RHA, with the help of RHACS, that we are going to check those kind of bugs, we can say, and then we just fix those particular bugs, or we can say the problems. That's what we have, vulnerabilities and all those things, right? And also we are going to talk about how we can install and configure those particular RHACS, right? And then the architecture of this particular RHACS, right? And how we can the installation method, we can say, like we have like multiple method to configure those things, and then how we can customize those things. So that's also option that we are going to configure this particular installing and configuring those RHACS. Overall, we can say that, right? And after that, what we have that importing. So importing means what we can say in this particular import managed cluster into the Red Hat cluster securities for the Kubernetes, right? So in this, that we are going to talk about those retrieve basic securities informations from this particular RHACS console, and then identify those, and then fix those things, right? So the process remains same for each environment. Depend on that, like how you guys wanted to manage those, you guys can manage those, right? So especially in this chapter number 8, right, that we are going to install and configure those cluster securities for this Kubernetes, right? And then we are going to learn those architecture, the installation method, right? And then with the help of those console, how we can import those cluster into the Red Hat particular services, security services, and then retrieve the basic security informations from the different mechanisms and different options, right? So that because again, when we're talking about the deployment, multi-cluster deployment, all those securities are like more concerns and all, right? So they offer the securities concerns as well. So with the help of these argument and these component, we are also check those, like what may be vulnerable in your systems, maybe the applications, that could be anything actually. So we'll discuss in deep and detail in this training and all. Now, right. So now jumping on the chapter number 9, what we have exactly? So we have like multi-clusters operational security using the RHACS. So what we have inside those actually overall, right? In this, when we're talking about those integrations part, right? So we'll talk about integrate those RHACS with Red Hat Q, right? And list the benefit of integrating those particular RHACS with the other tools. So we'll discuss that in this particular information. We can say the integrations of RHACS with the external repositories or registries, right? And also we'll discuss, we are going to discuss like how we can analyze the vulnerabilities maybe affecting the clusters using the same tool, we can say the RHACS, right? And then vulnerable dashboard, and also you'll guys take a report from the same. So thus we can say the vulnerabilities, dashboard and reporting, and also we can create a policies to prevent the deployment of vulnerable images, right? So what we can say again, when you're talking about those particular operational life cycle, so this tool allow to analyze the vulnerabilities, right? We can say find the vulnerabilities, and we can also generate a report for the same. We can create a policies to prevent the deployment of the vulnerable images, right? So this is a point. And then also we have option like how we can detect securities policy violence and applications or infrastructure's misconfiguration by using this particular tool, right? So let's suppose maybe you guys configure some kind of application, but that could be a misconfigure and all those things. So we can perform those detection with the help of this particular tools as well, right? So we can say like configuration, with the help of these things we can check those configurations management, or overall it's like a configurations management view as well. So that's like a point, right? So these specially we can say those particular tools, the RHACS, with the help of these things what we can do, we can check those vulnerabilities, we can find those weaknesses of your application, all those things, the misconfigurations, everything we can follow that, right? And finally in the chapter number 10th what we have that comprehensive review. So you guys know about the comprehensive review, it's like entire moral of this particular contents, right? So when we're talking about the learning, so we have like total 9 chapter, overall we have a 10, in the 10th we have like comprehensive review, like entire content part, right? So in the 480 especially we have like 2 advanced tool, or we can say thus like a 2 important tool. We can say the RHACM, and then second we have like a RHACS, right? So we can say that Red Hat advanced clusters management. With the help of these things what we can do, entirely we can manage our clusters, multi-clusters overall, and with the help of RHACS we can say advanced cluster securities, right? So with the help of we can secure our entire applications, or we can say the clusters, and many more information we have that. So overall, especially in this particular 480 we have a 2 tools, right? So these tools should I mean when we are talking about those training and all those things, so you guys need to like aware of this, what exactly tool, how we can check those things, and how we can install. So there are a lot of terms and the keyword we have that, right? So we'll discuss in the training and all, right? So it's all about those content that we are going to cover in this particular 480, right? And then also we'll discuss in this like how you guys can configure your like own OpenShift, I mean for this particular training and all. If you guys wanted to configure your own kind of deployment and all those things over your premises, we can say that your cloud, I mean your hardware, data center, maybe the cloud and all those things. So we'll discuss that too as well. So again, so these are like informations and the content, officials content that we are going to cover in this particular DO480 overall. So these are a point, right? So for now we just wrap up, right? And then in the deep and dive we'll discuss in that next sessions, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you.